I came across someone on my timeline on Twitter, and she has a penchant for writing poems, and she was a bit shy to actually let others read or listen to her poems, and I volunteered to read her poems for her, read it out loud. So it's been a long time since I've done this. I don't know if I will make her happy or disappoint her. So this poem is by Afiqa Khalieda. On Twitter, her tweet handle is raw riot garararo. And it's called House Arrest. Here we go. We took shelter immediately after we were told to stay where we are. Don't dare to move. Don't roam the streets like a ghost town. This is what we need. It happened a little too quick, the announcement. Too fast to grab anything else but my toothbrush and my undies. Staying in meaning no pants required, no undergarments that will suffocate. By all means, run naked. So I didn't pack more than my necessities, toiletries. It won't be long, we thought. It will be over soon. But soon became later, caught everyone off guard. All of a sudden, the streets were a void. Highways emptier than a supermarket parking lot at midnight. Even the 24-hour shops that seemed to be open forever were closed indefinitely. Staying indoors starts to feel like house arrest. Seeing friends through a screen felt like visiting an inmate. Ever seen and heard but never allowed to touch or feel. What was thought to be a much-needed time off felt like a prison sentence with no chance of parole. There were those who thought, I should drive home to my mother, rather than staying in with 4 strangers in a shabby old flat in the city, without even a flicker of care of what great risk they would bring home, all because they wanted a bit of fresh air and quality time with mom. Little did they know that their 6-hour drive home would have hitchhikers, invisible, minute, but just as deadly as a poisonous dart. No more than a simple touch would pass it on to their loved ones, taking away their lungs and inevitably their heart. It started a few months ago with a handful of unlucky souls that were taken by this unseen enemy, preying on whoever it was that they come across. It was on the telly, glimpses of it on the news, as we thought to ourselves, that's on the other side of the world. No way it'll find its way here. While it did just that, seeping through the cracks of social behavior, finding its way onto a plane, claiming its one-way ticket to dystopia, unknowingly causing a pandemic seemingly overnight, and staying put looks to be the only feasible way to fight, to flatten the curve. As a souvenir of putting people's lives in danger, anyone has yet to find out how we would get infected. Is it true or false? Is it airborne? Does it spread through physical contact? Or the marks that we leave on the shelf? In small particles of every sneeze and cough that we heard, we weren't sure what was coming for us, what it might do to us in the foreseeable future. Even when you're asymptomatic, you bring it home to those who would get affected. This thing forced us to restrict our movement, to stay put, to be imprisoned with your demons. Or your babies, if you may. Even the loved ones can become someone you no longer care. For those who are lucky enough to not be living in an abusive home, How wonderful that it'll bring you closer together. But this is no longer that part of the world. It has now spread all throughout the continents, and no, I'm not exaggerating. Yes, there are people dying, and the body counts are no longer just tens. The world is in shambles. Can no longer live normally, doing our normal boring routines, from going to the office in a slack and button-up silk, walking into a packed sardines tin bullet, to meeting your buddies for a drink and a catch-up session, to go on a run to sweat your insides out, to queue in line without fear that you'll catch it from a cough or a sneeze, from touching anything that had been touched by someone else. But it is as easy as that. Just how deadly it is there, unseen to the naked eye, causing the world to change rapidly, abruptly, and for once or maybe never before. It is not for the good, the better, the fairer, happy utopia we had hoped for. But we are being prepared for the end of the world, that it becomes inevitable. It'll be eventually, slowly but surely. There are no assurances that we would resume life as we knew it. Afiqa, Khalieda.